You ever notice that Sonic has a really close association with Christmas? There's a whole bunch of official art of him in Christmas attire, alongside alt skins in numerous games, several Christmas specials over the years, and so much more. And this runs deep. Sonic himself was partially inspired by Santa Claus, and he even comes from a place called Christmas Island. Naoto Oshima, Sonic's original designer, loved Christmas. He used to bike around Tokyo dressed up as Santa Claus with a sack full of stuffed toys to give out to children. He only eventually stopped because someone started copying him while sporting the logo of a pizza chain. Someone trying to spread joy being stopped by a corporate imitator? I didn't know Sonic CD was an autobiography. So frankly, it's only natural Sonic had some Christmas inspiration thrown in there. For one, his boots are inspired by those of Santa Claus. Yes, they're boots, not shoes with socks. The white part is actually the cuff of the boot. And as I mentioned earlier, Sonic's canonical birthplace is an island known as Christmas Island, which is based on a real island that was used as a nuclear test site during the Cold War. But you can't tell me the namesake wasn't part of the reason it was chosen. Not much is known about it besides it being a mysterious island very different from other places on Earth, but I personally like that we know very little about it, since I think it makes sense for Sonic's character that his past doesn't really matter all too much as opposed to the here and now. And of course, plenty of Sonic media over the years has done Christmas specials of the sort. The earliest example I can think of is the Sonic manga, where Eggman dresses up as Santa Claus to trick the residents of Hedgehog Town, which will come to be quite the theme. But let's jump over to the western side for a second here and talk about Sonic Christmas Blast. I talked about it briefly in my American Sonic video, but I thought this was a fun little special. Basically, the special opens with Santa Claus announcing his resignation, and that his successor is none other than one Dr. Robotnik, who changes the rules of Christmas to make everyone give him presents instead. Naturally, Sonic and Tails find this suspicious, and they find the real Santa Claus is being held captive by Robotnik SWAT bots. They of course rescue Santa, but Santa fears it's too late and there's no way he'll be able to deliver all the presents in time now. But Sonic, using the Ring of Ultimate Velocity that Sally gave him for Christmas the previous year, manages to get the presents to everyone in time, and showers Sally with a mountain of gifts. I really like the animation in this special. It was made years after the original airing of Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and it clearly had much more time put into its animation. I honestly don't know why I have a soft spot for this of all US Sonic media. Maybe it's because it pays homage to his roots with the Christmas theming. Or maybe I just have a soft spot for old 2D animated Christmas films. Don't even talk to me if you don't fuck with a very minty Christmas. Sonic's next major holiday-themed appearance actually wasn't in a Sonic title at all. Rather as a bonus in another game, Christmas Nights into Dreams. For those unaware, Christmas Nights is a promotional sample disc of Nights into Dreams that was released for the Saturn in holiday 1996. Now, I'm gonna be honest here, I'm not all too familiar with the Nights franchise. But after playing Spring Valley for like an hour or more to unlock the Sonic mode, I've clearly become a professional, as indicated by my respectable C ranks. The basic gameplay loop here is that you transform into Knights and you fly around the dream world collecting blue chips until you either collect enough to proceed to the next section, or run out of time. You can do a loop to collect everything in the middle of said loop and use a drill dash to move faster, at the cost of using up some of your meter. The game is beautiful. I'm a sucker for the Sega Saturn aesthetic, and Naoto Oshima worked as the director and artist for this game. So it has that beautiful Sonic CD-esque look going on, and the winter theming works incredibly well with this style too. But nobody's here for Nights, you all made to talk about Sonic! So what is this fabled Sonic mode? Well, in the main game, prior to transforming into Knights, you can run around as either Elliot or Claris, and collect things in sort of 3D platformer map. In the Sonic mode, you do the same thing, but with Sonic instead, and no time limit. Sonic's model is really charming, I like him a lot, but the gameplay here isn't the best. You're basically just blindly following wherever this arrow is pointing with no consideration for what's around you. I mean, I can't blame them. This game began development in 1994, and nobody had really figured out 3D platformers by that point, but I couldn't call aimlessly wandering around here very fun. At the end, you fight a boss, which is just a reskin of Elliot's first boss from the full game, but it being 2D fits Sonic's controls much better. And I like how it's just reskinned to a giant bouncy Eggman for Sonic to kick around. It also uses a remix of the Japanese final boss theme from Sonic CD, which means it was likely a bunch of kids in the West's first time hearing the song, considering Sonic CD had a completely different soundtrack in America. That's kinda neat. With the release of the Sega Dreamcast, something of a trend started, where Sonic games started getting post-launch Christmas DLC. The first game to get such a DLC was Sonic Adventure, which actually got 2 pieces of Christmas DLC, for Christmas 1998 and 99 respectively. Both of them are incredibly similar. They put Christmas trees in Station Square which have messages and play Christmas music. The 1999 version has music from Christmas nights and a much bigger tree, so it's cooler in my opinion. There's actually an issue with this DLC where having it installed prior to unlocking Speed Highway causes the ID card necessary to get into the stage to be blocked by the tree, which is kind of funny. Also, you can spin dash jump off of the trees and get out of bounds really easily. Every later DLC pretty much just gives Sonic a Santa outfit, so let's just go through all of these really quickly. Sonic Adventure 2 is kind of the lamest one design-wise, with Sonic only getting a vest and no hat. Plus, I don't think the vest matches as well with the soap shoes. It kinda makes up for it by being the only one to have skins for the other characters though. Shadows is the same as Sonic's, Tails' mech has colors similar to a candy cane, Knuckles has decorations on his dreads, Eggman has lights on his Eggmobile, and Rouge has her outfit and wings recolored to red and white. I think Rouge's is the best since it's the most dramatic change, though I think it would have been better if they made her eyeshadow red too. Sonic Frontiers brought back the trend, and this time he's wearing the same outfit he wears in this Yuikawa artwork, but I don't think it looks very good here. Ignoring the fact I just don't like how Frontier Sonic looks, the fact that his shoes are a darker red kind of causes it to not match as well as it does in the artwork. Sonic Superstars does it the best in my opinion. It's the same thing as the Frontiers outfit, but the brighter colors and less realistic textures just make it fit so much better. The outfit fits with classic Sonic shoes really nicely since they're the same color and material, and just look at him, he's fucking adorable! There are also a lot of Christmas outfits in the mobile games and Speed Simulator, in fact, far too many for me to list without it getting incredibly boring. Here's some of Amy's because I'm biased and I like her. Jumping back in time a bit, let's talk Archie Sonic. Archie's first Christmas issue was issue number 6, which features a Sonic parody of A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, with Robotnik as Scrooge and Sonic as the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. That aside, there's surprisingly little Christmas in the main Archie Sonic continuity, other than a holiday variant cover of issue 267. But the Archie version of Sonic X is a different story, having a Christmas issue taking place during the events of Season 2. I think it's kinda funny having Sonic be an avid Santa denier in this issue, asking what Santa gets out of it, because you'd think Sonic, of all characters, would understand doing something kind while not expecting anything returned just because you want to. Anyways, this marks the 3rd time Eggman usurps the role of Santa Claus, this time saying he wants something in return for his gift giving, and that if the people of the world don't deliver Sonic to him, he'll not give out any toys. Somehow, Chris of all people doesn't see through this and asks Sonic to turn himself in to get gifts. Greedy kid. Eggman sends Boko in his place to collect Sonic, and since it's not Eggman when Sonic pulls off the beard, everyone just believes the robot is the real Santa? Guys! Come on! Anyways, Sonic goes along with it, proves the Santa is a fake, and everyone goes home to celebrate Christmas. Also, if you're familiar with Sonic X like I am, you may have noticed that most of, if not all of the artwork in this comic is just traced from the show, which is kind of funny when you recognize the sources. Sometimes they just straight up use the character's basic stock render poses, which looks goofy as fuck. Speaking of the comics, Fleetway's Sonic the Comic also has several Christmas issues, even featuring Father Christmas himself. But I'm actually in the middle of reading Fleetway for a video I might make, so I don't want to risk spoiling myself by skipping ahead, so sorry Fleetway fans, you'll need to wait a bit longer for me to talk about your spiny blue dickhead. I have read 2 of the issues that take place during Christmas though, so let's talk about those. First was issue 16, where Eggman claimed to have turned over a new leaf and was making gifts for everybody, to which everybody but Sonic just decides to trust him. But it turns out, as revealed by one of Eggman's robots who got too drunk, it's not the real Eggman, and instead a bomb. Sonic, of course, disposes of the bomb, and Christmas is saved. The second one I read is kind of lame. It's a completely unrelated story where Eggman creates a portal to transport robots from Angel Island to the surface of Mobius that just happens to take place during Christmas. Not much to say about it. Multiple of the YouTube animated specials they put out are also Christmas themed. Chow in Space has the Chow Garden decorated with a bunch of Christmas decorations, and you're never gonna fucking believe who Eggman is dressed up as here. But the most obvious one is the Sonic Mania Adventures Christmas special. This is my favorite short they ever put out, probably because it revolves around Amy and she's perfect here and I love her. It takes place after the main specials, and begins with Eggman abandoning a broken metal, who sits there for months until Amy stumbles upon him, understandably freaks out and starts attacking him considering their history, before realizing he's helpless and feeling bad for him, delivering him to Eggman's lair to be repaired, complete with a cute little bow. Aww. I really love how Amy is characterized here. It aligns with her adventure arc really well to set everything else aside to help someone in need, even if that someone has wronged her. IDW had its own Christmas special, that being Sonic Christmas Jam. The comic revolves around Sonic and Co. participating in a competitive game show upon being kidnapped by Orbot and Cubot during a beach day. It's a really cute, low-stakes special, the art is amazing, the character interactions are really fun, Amy ties up Sonic and Tails with Christmas lights for some reason. I love how eager Omega is to tear the entire place down, it's overall a fun little special. I have some nitpicks with some of Sonic's dialogue, but it's nothing egregious, and I'm sure nobody wants me to bring back the y'all discourse, so I'll leave it at that. I had almost completely forgotten about this, but since Sonic Movie 3 released in December, for its promo they did a whole bunch of parodies of classic Christmas film posters, like Home Alone, Four Christmases, and Scrooged, among others. They also did a promotional stop-motion short for the film, called A Very Sonic Christmas. Basically, Sonic is telling Tails and Knuckles about Christmas, and he tries to show them Santa Claus, but in creating a portal to the North Pole, he causes Santa to trip and sprain his ankle, rendering him unable to deliver presents. Thankfully, the fastest thing alive is there to take his place, which is now the second time that's happened. Is that enough times to consider it a trope? I think I've made it clear in the past that I'm not exactly a fan of Paramount Sonic, but this was a cute little short, so I can't complain about much. You know, with all this external media in DLC and how prevalent it is to Sonic's creation, you'd think the main games would have at least a handful of Christmas zones, right? Well, as far as I know, there are two. And one of them went unused. The first of which was in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. If you weren't aware, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was originally going to have a time travel plot, where you went across different time periods over the course of the game. And in the past section of the game, there was intended to be a zone called Rock World, which was the past version of the also cancelled Sand Shower Zone. All that exists of it is this mock-up, which as you can plainly see, features Christmas trees. The second zone, which actually wound up being used, is White Park Zone from Sonic 4 Episode 2, which also features Christmas trees. In fact, every tree in the whole level is decorated, which really makes me feel bad for whatever robot was tasked with putting up these lights. But you'd really think there would be more, right? There are so many winter levels, many of them include pine trees, so they're this close, they just don't go all the way. I have to be forgetting something here, right? There must have been a Christmas level in like Shadow the Hedgehog or something I'm completely forgetting about. Can I be honest? I have no idea how to write an outro for this. Here's a Sonic plushie with a Santa hat. He's wonderful.